Hello everyone! So, a few months ago, I posted on YouTube and asked you guys if you'd be interested in a Q&A from me. And a lot of you people were, which is great. Unfortunately, I'm a lazy piece of shit, so it took me a while to get going to actually film this video, not to mention I'm scared to actually film a video with my face on it for, you know, one of the first times ever on this channel. Except for my older videos, but nobody really watches this anyway, so. This video is probably gonna be lit weird. I can already see it, like, on my face, because the sun is, like, rising, like, literally right over there. But I don't care, and we're gonna have a good time, and I'm gonna answer some of your questions. But I hope you enjoy this very different video, and I'll do my best to answer them as well as I can. Well, oh my god, this is great so far. And you can see also how well I do without a script. So, the biggest of oofs says, as far as content creation / pleasing the algorithm goes, do you ever feel boxed in by BoJack Horseman? Would you consider starting a series on shows that are completely new to you? So first part of that, not really. I've tried to go outside of BoJack many times now, and I think a lot of people are interested in those other videos as well. My BoJack ones probably do the best, but I'm glad that I have also found a community for my Legend of Korra content, and also I've done The Good Place. I have explored other series as well. I just like doing BoJack the most, kinda. And would I consider starting a series on shows that are completely new to you? Not sure what you mean by that. Do you mean like a reaction like sort of thing? Because I already do that on another channel, which you can find below in the description always. Me and my friend Fosley react to different TV shows and movies over on that other channel, if you want to check it out. Growing up, what were your comfort shows? Good question. I was a big fan. Wizards of Waverly Place was a huge one. Total Drama was big on my list. Teen Titans I watched all the time. As I got into my teenage years, I was watching, like, The Walking Dead, The 100, you know, shows that seem good but, like, aren't. No, Walking Dead was good, and then it became kind of abysmally awful, but. Oh, do you partake in guilty pleasure and or hate watching? It's tough. Sometimes. I have watched Glee now a astonishing number of times. Enough that I'm kind of embarrassed by how much I've watched it. Please! 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 But, I know the show isn't, like, good. Like, it is all over the place. The decisions these writers made, borderline idiotic at times, but I don't know, it's kind of hilarious as a show, and like, at least the jokes are always funny. I did watch all the way through The 100, and that show is, oh my god, that show played with my emotions in a way that I wasn't ready for. And my emotions meaning like my expectations and love of the show went up and down over and over again. I watched season 1, it was like so cheesy and awful, and I was like, you know what, I'm interested at least in what's going on this earth. And then season 2 like got like kind of good. The dialogue is still like, oh, what? Like, it is just all cliches almost. But it sort of got really interesting with how the plot developed. Season 3 too, and a lot of people hate that season, but honestly, I don't think it's as bad as people say, although, yeah, again, this is like a writing room that made so many mistakes in terms of their plot. And then it started getting better with season 4 and 5, to the point where season 5 I thought was, like, solid. I was like, this is actually good television. Things were, like, crazy weird between the characters, the dynamics were tested, I loved it. And then season 6 came out and it was, like, just as good, but they were going in a completely new direction, and then in season 7, I realized that I did not like that direction. But I did finish it all the way to the end, and yeah, I mean, it was fun. The thing is, like, at least the actors in it are good. The writing is, so bad. Also, I agree with what you say here about hate watching not really existing. I think if you enjoy it, then you enjoy it. It's guilty pleasure is a thing that I believe in, but hate watching, yeah, I mean, like, you're not watching it because you hate it. I mean, you get some sort of enjoyment out of it, clearly, so yeah, I would agree with you there. What makes a TV show great / perfect in your eyes? These are all one person, by the way. I mean, it has to fire on all cylinders, right? So the performances have to be amazing, The writing has to be consistent. I always appreciate when a show knows where it's going ahead of time. I don't think that's the hallmark of it, like, has to be like that to be a great show, but I think a lot of television shows that had, like, you know, their entire storyline planned out right from the beginning are usually, like, more solid. So I think writing is probably, like, one of the most important parts, but I'm a sucker for great performances, even if there are writing mistakes. And even if, you know, the writing isn't perfect, I could still view a show as, like, basically perfect in my eyes, even if they make a few mistakes, because most writing teams do. You are very insightful, empathetic, and well-spoken. Thank you. I'm curious about your background. Are your parents teachers? Do you like to read as well as watch shows? Have you taken psychology classes? My parents are not teachers. I just think that they're good people and they raised me well. Thanks, Mom and Dad. Love ya. And I don't read. You know, I would love to read. That'd be great. I lack the discipline to read. I have a book right now, The Only Good Indians. It's supposed to be a really good horror book. It's actually scary, and let's just say I haven't gotten to it in a while, unfortunately. So I want to read. Have I taken psychology classes? That would be a hard no. No, I didn't take any psychology classes in college, or in high school. We didn't have them, so. If you could change one thing about the BoJack Horseman canon, what would it be? I don't know, give it more seasons? Am I allowed to do that? This is my only criticism, so yeah, I'll change one thing about the canon. Todd never facing legal consequences. That kind of bothers me a little bit, because, you know, he'd be sitting there acting like he hasn't committed felonies and, like, gross violations of, like, codes, human rights. So I wish they addressed that. I appreciate the silly side of the show, but I mean, it's just hard to reckon with that when you have all these people facing consequences for their actions. There's some great animated series on Netflix that ended up getting canceled too soon. Tell me about it. Inside Job, I still need to watch that. Honestly, I'm not, because it was canceled too soon. Midnight Gospel, and my personal favorite, Dead End Paranormal Park. I haven't even heard of that last one. Would you consider covering those series despite the stories ending too fast? For sure. Of course I would cover those shows. I just need to watch them first. I have seen Midnight Gospel, so I don't know what I would cover about that one, though, because it's basically just a podcast. You know, there's not really a story for it, but, you know, the last episode did make me cry, so that's something. Do you have any more opinions on Long Story Short? Yeah, I mean, since my first video, I've uploaded a lot more, so this question has kind of aged poorly, but, do you wish for it to get another 2 seasons? I wish for it to get another 6 seasons. Yeah, so far I'm really liking what I see. I think my favorite thing about the show is how realistic the dialogue feels. I think I've said this in a couple of my videos, but when the family talks to each other, or like, it's like right from the first scene too. Jen and Avi arrive at the airport. It's just such a realistic way of speaking everyone has. They talk over each other, everyone's interrupting, there's like a joke every 3 seconds. It's pretty fun to watch, and honestly it's become a comfort show to me. I've already rewatched it like 4 or 5 times, so I would love for there to be more content for me to rewatch so I don't have to start rewatching so soon. How long does research take for you for each video? I probably set like 1 day aside for research and like will outline my video with it, or sometimes I will do it at the end where after I've finished a script I will go back and reread it and look for sources that back up my arguments and relate to what I'm talking about. And those usually take like a day. I don't spend a ton of time on research. I think I could be doing more. Gotta be more diligent about that. Who are your favorite characters in BoJack Horseman, Legend of Korra, and The Boys? Alright, BoJack first. My favorite character is and has always been Princess Carolyn because I am the most like her out of the cast. Characters? I mean, I would probably throw Diane and BoJack in there just because, you know, why not? They're incredibly written. Not saying the other 2 aren't, I'm just saying I enjoyed their storylines generally the most. I'll be honest, the first time I watched, I was not in for the Todd hijinks, okay? Sometimes he annoyed me. Legend of Korra? I mean, it's hard not to pick Korra as your favorite character because the show focuses mostly on her. But I would say her, Tenzin, Asami. I'll pick 3 for each show. And then The Boys, Starlight, well, I shouldn't call her that. Annie, Butcher, because he's interesting, not because, like, I agree with him. And maybe Frenchie? Or Kimiko. Kimiko. It's definitely Kimiko. Oh my god. If you could make your own show, what would it be like? Who would you work with? Oh, what wouldn't I make, realistically, if I had infinite money? Break, the people who write Avatar, they would need to hire me, okay? I've got some amazing ideas for y'all. And I have no idea what you're planning so far with this new series, but I could add to it. Hit me up. I can help you guys out, trust me. I think I got it. I think I see the vision, okay? I have also written, like, a lot in my spare time just because it's, like, a fun hobby for me. I don't usually... Sometimes I write things that I post. I write SCPs, so those get posted online, but I do a lot of my writing in private. Some of the shows that I've made is, like, a whole Avatar series that I've now written, like, 6 seasons of. It's kind of hard to believe. It's, like, a lot of writing. I have written kind of, like, a mockumentary comedy series about an ecology club at a high school, and I've also kind of, like, I wrote and started to animate before I realized how hard animating actually is. A cartoon, like Bojack, about a lion living in, like, a city that's kind of like a jungle. Lots of things I would make as a show. What's your favorite running gag in the series? Honeydew hate tongue twisters, hooray! Probably Erica. I think that's, like, the most creative one, and the one they build off of the best. Honorable mentions would probably be Peanut Butter always getting the sign wrong, or the sign place getting it wrong. It's not really his fault. And yeah, the Honeydew hate is up there for me, because I think Honeydew is garbage! How'd you come up with your YouTube name, PosiTVty? So I was running a channel called TV Wins before this, which, of course, is a cheap knockoff of Cinema Wins and Cinema Sins and all those. And that channel got hacked. And you know, I was really upset about it, but I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna quit YouTube, okay? I'm gonna restructure. This is a great opportunity for me to rebrand away from that and make my own name. Okay? Because my video essays were starting to get a little bit popular on Victorious, which is hilarious. And I was like, so I do still want to talk about things I like about television. And then I was like, well, then, you know, if we do that, if we look at things from a positive angle, then TV, and, you know, I kind of put that together. A lot of people hate the name to this channel, by the way. I have gotten many messages saying it doesn't grammatically make sense, but I just did it by sounding it out, okay? PosiTVty, because it sounds most like the word, okay? I'm sorry. But it was for the best, because then this channel got known for BoJack Horseman content, which I liked making way more anyway. So, but if you want Victorious content, I'm still willing to do it. I still sadly watch that show sometimes. I watch it on repeat if you haven't gotten that impression by now. What's your creative process? Yeah. I have a big list of video ideas in a Google document, and I pick one that feels interesting, and then I write the whole thing right there. And then I get to, you know, recording and editing. Do you have a pretty solid self-care routine? I think for the most part, yes. I am really poorly managing my sleeping schedule, and I have always been bad at that. I tend to want to be up at nights, and I sleep really late into the day. Evidenced by the fact that I'm filming this video at 7:48 a.m. Out of all the characters that you've covered, who do you relate to the most and why? Probably Princess Carolyn, definitely. I mean, definitely Cora herself. A lot of, you know, her feeling inadequate and unprepared and unsure about her direction, definitely. I think you're really good at analyzing shows, but do you think you're good at analyzing shows? I think I'm getting better. I think that's the best answer I can give. I look at my old videos and I think they're pretty poorly made at this point. So I think I'm improving, but I also think there are a lot of people out there who are much better at this than me, but hey, that's okay. I can learn from them. What do you think has gone into shaping that talent? I've been wanting to do YouTube for a really long time. When I was like 12, I made Minecraft videos. I jumped on that craze. Please don't try to find them, because I know you guys are tenacious and will find them. And oh my god, that would be a nightmare. But yeah, I've been doing this for a long time. I don't think that has made me particularly good at thumbnail creation and stuff like that, but it took me a long time to figure out what works. So just trying a lot, honestly. Never really moving too far away from it. Like, I always wanted to edit and make videos, even like in the period, you know, after I was done doing like lame gaming videos. Although I'm considering setting up a gaming channel again, so, you know. There was a period, even in college, where I was like just making like random, more like Jenna Marbles type content, because I loved her. I'm so sad she's gone. And I posted that on a channel called Singular Alex. Those you could check out if you want. I think they're also kind of embarrassing, but hey, why not? Did you have a favorite toy growing up? That's a random question. I know I played with Woody from Toy Story a lot. I have a bear that I still have up there. His name is Corduroy, which I believe is from a cartoon that I haven't watched in a really long time. What got you into BoJack Horseman? A long time ago. You know, when it was coming out. I worked at a movie theater, and one of my coworkers, also named Alex, I told him like what type of TV shows I like, and he was like, oh, you would probably like this one. And I went home and watched it, and I don't know what it was, but I do remember that like the breaking point for me was in Zoe's and Zelda's, when we find out that Bojack is the person who bought the game that Todd, you know, is addicted to. That I apparently was enough to blow my mind, so I pretty much binged the rest of it. And then, you know, Downer ending and the finale, and the telescope, of course, are like actually incredible, so I was like, okay, this is super special. And by that time, I think this third season had just released, so I pretty much finished it in like 2 weeks. Probably not even, honestly. Are you ever considering ever branching out to create your own work of fiction? Yeah, I just discussed that, kinda. I did study game design in college, so I kinda never put that down either, so I'm currently, and have been working on a game of my own for a very, very, very long period of time. But I am not giving up on this project, okay? I have too many ideas that I have given up on right after I've started. I am finishing this one if it takes me centuries. It's a branching narrative game. If you've ever played Night in the Woods, kind of like that, but kind of a satire of the noir genre. I'll keep you updated if you're interested on that one, but it's not even close, so don't worry. Are you familiar with the Last of Us games? Yes, I have played the first one. It was actually the first game I played on my PlayStation 4. I got that, like, bundle. I have not played the second one, mostly because of all the chuds online who couldn't like stop themselves from whining about what happened in the story for like 5 minutes. So like I got the major thing from that story spoiled like immediately. I still want to play it. I was toying with watching the second season of the show first, and then it turned out to be not that good, so I don't know. Maybe I'll play it on my new gaming channel. I'm considering starting streaming and stuff like that. Let me know if you're interested. But yeah, Last of Us 2, I know that the gameplay, flawless, so I'd love to try. And I'm pretty terrible at video games, so if you are interested in that, prep yourself. You're gonna need to be patient. What's your take on Arcane? I love Arcane. I think it could have been longer, but besides that, it is so well put together. Like, every sequence is so well thought out and storyboarded. It is clearly made by people who care, and I appreciate that, really. It's refreshing in this day and age. Will you do more She-Ra videos coming up? Absolutely. I don't know who to do it on. Probably Adora, right? But let me know if you have any suggestions for that. But I love She-Ra, and I would love an excuse to rewatch it. How many times do you watch an episode of BoJack for the reasons to love videos? Fortunately, I've already rewatched the show itself countless times. It's impossible to put a number on it, really. So when I would do the reasons to love videos, I usually watch them and write at the same time. I pause whenever I write, of course, to make sure I don't miss anything. And then while I'm editing, if I catch something, because I'm taking like a closer look at the footage, I add a reason right in there. Kind of annoying, but it is my process and it does work. Opinions on modern day masculinity and the media's role in it, particularly BoJack Horseman. I think we're doing, I mean, I can only speak on how I think America is, and we're doing pretty poorly. Unfortunately, I think we were doing great work in that a lot of people like understood toxic masculinity. And then, like, you know, the pushback started happening, and now there's, like, a lot of right-wing influencers, like, telling young boys to, like, just be terrible because I guess it's cool. I don't really know what the reason is, but I think, unfortunately, a lot of media platforms, YouTube kind of has a big problem with it as well, are dominated by right-wing influencers, and they reach a lot of young people and teach them some kind of disgusting things about being a man, some very outdated things that I thought, we had not moved past, but at least, learned were bad. But now, people are advocating that women should not be equal to men, they shouldn't have the right to vote, and people who have sexually abused women, and, people just defending them online for, no reason. It's bonkers. For somebody struggling with insecurity and self-hatred, do you think it's better to aim for self-acceptance or self-rebellion? There's probably not any, one way, I don't think you should go all in on self-acceptance or self-hatred, I think there's a balance, okay? I mean, it's not good to be overly critical of yourself, but it is good to recognize your own flaws, examine them, and want to be better, there's not a 100% answer in either direction, you can't just accept yourself as you are, flaws and all, when you could be better. You could be treating people better. If you recognize that behavior, you should be doing something about it, So I think it's a mix of self-rebellion and self-acceptance. I mean, it depends on, in my opinion, how good it is, for your own mental health, or how good this behavior is for your relationships with others. What's your favorite video that you have made? Probably the really long Korra video, I'm tempted to say, just because it took so much work. But I think probably my most, well put together video is the lessons video that I did on Bojack. I really liked that one. And it was a good, way to examine, the whole series for me, so it was fun to make, too. That's why it ended up being real long. Any comments that linger in your head? The best part about comments is, they don't. People have said some negative things to me, definitely. And again, I can't really remember any of the specifics of those comments. I do remember lots of comments about people saying that, my videos, made a difference in their life. There's a lot more of those, and I appreciate that a lot. So thank you guys for that. How about watching Crazy Ex-Girlfriend? I really should. I gotta watch that one. Isn't it a musical? Is there something in Bojack that you wanted to know more about or have an episode about? What's in the letter? What was in that letter? I was dying to know what Hollyhock wrote to him. Any other things? I wish we dove into Butterscotch's life, because we got a lot of perspective on Beatrice. Mostly because she was still, around for part of the series, so she was able to kind of come back. I would have appreciated an analysis of why Butterscotch is the way he is. I mean, again, a lot of it can be attributed to, typical masculine traits that were pushed, at the time. His aspirations to be a writer without having the specifics, and then blaming everybody else when he fails. Classic. But I would have loved to know more about, his parents. What happened in his past? What happened to him as a child? Because, again, there's always a reason why people are the way they are. I would have loved to know more about that. One of my patrons, Luna Cazador, longtime patron, thank you so much, Luna, for supporting me, asks if I have a favorite and least favorite part of making YouTube videos. And I do. My favorite part is definitely writing them. I find that really easy. My ideas spill out onto the page. Formatting the writing, going back through it and making sure it makes sense. Not the most fun, but I do enjoy that part. The worst? By far, editing. I loved editing for a while, and then I, edited that 1.5 hour long video of Legend of Korra. I think that video killed all of my enthusiasm for editing. It was hell. At some point, you just get tired of doing the same 3 clicks every 5 seconds. But, I am trying to renew my interest in it and do a little bit different flourishes, so we'll see if that works. But I still don't mind editing either. She also asks if I have a team or if it's just me. Just me. And if this is my only job, which it is. Thank goodness, and thank y'all for that. She also asks if the art style plays a factor into whether or not I enjoy a show. Unless it's, animated just poorly, One Punch Man. Sorry. I don't really care that much about the art style. I will appreciate interesting choices, for sure. But I don't think I've seen an art style that I, dislike and detracts from the show. And I've seen some pretty weird art styles, I love JoJo. And that, changes art styles, 3 times. I've watched a lot of different anime and cartoons, and for the most part, art styles don't bother me. I don't love the basic one, like I said, for like Family Guy or like American Dad or shows like that where they're really simply animated, but I think if a show was like really well written, I don't think I would care, because it's the same kind of simple animation that Bojack does. Pyrite asks what my favorite show is, and don't be shocked. It's BoJack Horseman. I mean, there's a reason why I make most of my videos about that show. It's not just because they're the most popular. I saw that people actually wanted to hear me rant about this show that I talk far too much about, and I was like, oh shit, I can just like yap forever. So if you want another one that's up there, ooh. Well, BoJack Horseman is an animated comedy drama, so let's do something in like a different category. Like Attack on Titan is up there. God, that show is so good. I, of course, love The Office and Parks and Rec. I'm just throwing a bunch out there at this point. Obviously, Avatar and, you know, The Legend of Korra. Fleabag is fantastic. One-of-a-kind show. That's up there. Invincible blew my mind when I first watched it, so... Oh, Samurai Jack is such a classic. It's really impossible for me to pick when I start scrolling down this list. Jujutsu Kaisen's up there. Link Click's up there. Ozark's up there. Brooklyn Nine-Nine's up there. Veep. Oh my god, I gotta stop. If I would just say the show that I've rewatched the most besides BoJack Horseman, let's just say Veep. Veep is so good. And I'm so sad that nobody wants content about it. I cannot yap about Veep like I can about BoJack Horseman. But hey, again, BoJack is my ultimate favorite. We'll see, long story short, might get there. But thanks to everyone who submitted questions. I had fun. I hope the lighting isn't too terrible. I tried my best, and I hope you all enjoyed. If you want me to do this again, let me know in the comments below. But I really appreciate you guys sending in questions. I've always wanted to do one of these, so this was fun, and let's do it again sometime. It was fun getting to, well, it was fun having you get to know me. Okay, I'll see you next time. Bye! Go to Patreon. It's pretty cool. Trust me. I'm not even going to provide any details. Just trust me on that, bro.